All right, so my name is Michael DeLu, and I'm your host today for Pull Up the Tape. I'm really excited. I have lots of energy because I'm really happy. Like, a lot of good things has happened since the last time I shot this. So I can't wait to get into the politics of today's show. Before I do that, I would like to ask that those of you who are listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SoundCloud, do me a favor, share this podcast with anybody you know that loves soccer, basketball, football, MMA. Like, let them know about me and what I do. Appreciate you for spreading the good word. Word of mouth is always the best promotion, the best way to grow, whatever. And to those of you who are watching this podcast on my YouTube channel, do me a favor and like this video. It only takes a couple seconds. Leave a comment. You feel me? I'm about to politic on a lot of different things, so just let me know what you think, if you agree, if you disagree. And if you're not already, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification. If you do that, that helps me tremendously, and also you'll get a notification on your phone or your laptop or any mobile device that you have, tablet, whatever, about every single time that I drop a video, which is every single day. I got heat coming. And let's get into today's politics. All right, so the very first thing I want to discuss is my favorite club, Chelsea FC, okay? So yesterday, Chelsea defeated Wolves 2-0 with amazing goals from Olivier Giroud and a free kick from Mason Mount. All right. I want to get into. I'm really happy that this season has concluded the way it has, because for one, I never wavered. All right. I always thought and knew for a fact that, look, Chelsea are in a very great spot, because since I started supporting this club in 2010, I've always heard, our academy is full of dogs. Callum Hudson-Odoi, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Tammy Abraham, Fikayo Tomori, Reece James. Like, for those of you who don't know, Chelsea, like, I think there was a span of the 2010s where Chelsea won like four under 18 European championships in a row. Okay? Three or four of them. So I've always been hearing about our academy having a lot of interesting prospects and like very great players. And so much so that because they were so good and there were so many of them, all of them couldn't get first place, get bids into the first team, which is why we loaned out so many players, which is why we got put on a transfer ban. Okay, so we were written off because, we had a young coach, Frank Lampard. This is his second coaching job. Last year was his first year. He coached for Derby County, and then he coached in the Premier League this season. So these are all the things that they said about us. We had our head coach had no experience. We had just sold our best player to Real Madrid for 100 million euros, and all we had was young. And our team wasn't, from what pundits say, our team wasn't solid. But in reality, all that happened was we lost our best player and we got injected with academy graduates. And I honestly want to give them a round of applause for playing so great. I'm not going to say so great, for showing up when it really counted all season. Mason Mount, salute to you. Tammy Abraham was our leading scorer this season. Salute to you in the Premier League. Salute to you. Reece James, salute to you. I remember the first time I watched Reece James highlight tape, I was shocked. I said, a center back? No, not a right back is doing this? Oh, yes. He's great on the ball. He's fast. He's strong. Who else? Mason Mount. I'm so proud of him for what he did today. And just, honestly, Fikayo Tomori, it's crazy because when the season first started, I used to watch ESPN FC, and then they're just like, oh, also Christian Pulisic. I know he's not a academy graduate, but he's a young player that stepped up big time for us this year. Big time. So I want to salute all those young dogs for what they did. And then also, like I said, let me get back to my point where I was just like, I was bothered as well as confused. And it was quite apparent that like nobody was paying attention to how good our academy graduates were. Last year in the championship, Tammy Abraham was the leading scorer. Last year in the championship, Mason Mount almost led Derby County to the Premier League. Last year in the championship, Fikayo Tomori was one of the best defenders in the league. But, anyways, I wasn't even concerned. Let me not say that. So going into like Chelsea, like I said in my last podcast, being a Chelsea fan should come with warning signs, like you're subject to emotional trauma, physical trauma, psychological trauma, because we waited until the very last day to qualify for a Champions League, and all week I've been hearing, Ruben Neves this, Adam Traore, blah 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 blah. The last game of the season, Chelsea keeps a clean sheet. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? And you know what's crazy? Frank Lampard made a very bold and smart move in not playing Kepa Arrizabalaga. It's crazy. There was a shot of Kepa on the bench, and I was just like, damn, it's over for him at Chelsea. It's really over for him. But to get back into the game, Olivier Giroud scored. Mason Mount scored. And all in all, Chelsea played great football today. Not only were they able to put up a clean sheet, which hasn't happened many times this season, they look great. They look like a unit. They look cohesive. They played out the back well. They played together. They attacked in bunches and in spurts. Like they look incredible today. And like I said multiple times, why it's so hard to be a Chelsea fan is just one you never know what you're gonna get from them any given day. One day they'll look like some of the top. One day they'll look like a top team in Europe, and another day they'll look, I don't know, terrible. So it was really good and refreshing because it brings joy to my soul every time Chelsea win. And as I said before, this season there was a lot of uncertainty, and we were doubted a lot in the beginning. And I remember I remember watching the very first game of the season when we lost 4-0 to Manchester United at Old Trafford. I was hurt. Because we played good majority of that game, but I mean, with the way it is in European football and football at the highest level, I mean, a game can get turned upside down in a matter of seconds. That's all it takes for somebody to punch in a goal or a screamer or get a penalty kick or anything like that. So, yeah, this team and these youngsters have grown so much, and it's grown immensely since the very first game of the season. And it's just really satisfying that we were able to finish in the top four when beginning of the season. Like, I never thought we wouldn't finish in the top four. So when I would watch these games and when I would watch ESPN FC and all these other Sky Sports and all these people who cover the Premier League, and they're talking about, oh yeah, Chelsea. If Chelsea even finished in the top six, that'd be a successful season. I'm like, what? Chelsea finished in the top six? No, what are we, Arsenal? No, get out of here. Anyways, salute to Frank Lampard. Thank you so much. Like I'm so excited for next season. Like all these young dogs are only going to get better. I expect more from Tammy Abraham next year. I expect more from Mason Mount next year. I expect more from Fikayo Tomori and Reece James. I will be doing a end of season summary at the conclusion of the season. I'll say I'll do it after the FA Cup when we beat Arsenal. I'm gonna do that and wrap up the entire season, talk about the high points, the low points, where we've grown, what to expect from next season, and so on and so forth. So Chelsea fans, look out for that. If you're listening to this podcast, you know anybody who loves Chelsea FC, share this podcast with them. I'm pretty sure they'll rock with it because I love Chelsea. So does Josh Hart. Random fact. Pelicans guard. And yeah, so a great way to wrap up the Premier League season. I would talk more about the game, but there's not really much to talk about. They played great on both ends of the ball. They pressured. They pressed. They pressed good. They defended good. Alonso was good. Reece James was good. Kurt Zuma was good. Rudiger was good. Oh, Mateo Kovacic was incredible. I specifically remember one play where Jorginho got beat to no surprise. That's probably the only thing I could complain about today's starting 11 was Jorginho should not play anymore. Well, he shouldn't play important games. Okay? He's absolutely useless. Useless. Jorginho gets beat on a play to no surprise. And then in comes Mateo Kovacic sprinting, and then cleans up the entire play. Dispossesses the Wolves player from the ball, and that looked like a goal-scoring opportunity. This is when it was still 0-0. Dispossesses him off the ball, and I'm just sitting there watching like, wow, this dude was incredible. He's played lights out all season. He probably should be our what's the word for that? Player of the year. I'll probably give it to Mateo Kovacic. He was dependable, reliable. Every game he started, he played. Like, I don't think you can name a game where he actually played bad. I challenge you guys to find one. I don't know. Somebody comment below any game they felt like he played bad in. Because he played good in every game. I've seen him play. Every game he played good. And I like his work rate. I like him as a person. And he's a dog, honestly. So, Chelsea. Great way to end the Premier League season. And foul movie. We shook the room up, shook the table up. I'm mad we couldn't finish 3, but hey, next year, you know what the lovely part about this? 7 weeks from now, it's gonna get Easty. As in, the Premier League starts September 12th. So does football. The NBA starts later this week. UFC's getting it going, and movie. Let's get it. So, to my next topic. Jamal Adams finally got what he wanted. Okay, so he was traded on Saturday to the Seahawks in a blockbuster deal where the Jets received 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and Bradley McDougall, while the Seattle Seahawks received Jamal Adams and a 4th-round pick. And what I would honestly say is I'm incredibly proud of the New York Jets for the way they handled this situation. Because they stood firm the entire time and always said, we are not going to trade Jamal Adams, who is arguably the best safety in the NFL and who's only 24 or 25 years old. We're not going to trade the best player on our roster for anything less than a haul, which they got. 2 first-round picks and a second and a decent safety. Oh yeah, that's a reminds me of exactly what the Jaguars got for Jalen Ramsey. Okay, Jaguars aren't going to trade. Like, you know, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy because, you know, this offseason we've seen teams like Houston Texans do stupid stuff like trade their best player for a 2nd-round pick and a washed running back. Clap it up for Bill O'Brien. Clap it up for Bill O'Brien. Goofy. We've seen stuff like that, so it's really good to see that, and I'm honestly happy for the Jets, and I'm also happy for Jamal Adams. He was able to get out of a bad situation, to be honest. I mean, the Jets are terrible. Like, I think terrible is an understatement, to be honest. The Jets are terrible, and yeah, he was able to get out of that. And who I'm most happy for about who I'm the happiest for is Russell Wilson. As soon as the trade was announced, he jumped on Twitter, and you can see how excited he was because finally the defense, not finally, but the defense is going to get better. And Jamal Adams, for those of you who don't know how elite of a safety he is, he's top 5. He's been top 5 amongst not running backs, DBs in tackles, defensive snaps, forced fumbles, and sacks. Every single one of those categories for DBs, he's been top 5. So this dude is an elite playmaker. He makes plays all over the ball, all over the field. This dude's elite. I like his game. Honestly, I'm happy for him because he was able to force his way out and he went to a good team in the process. For the Seahawks, they better hope this works out because they gave up a lot for him. And yeah, it's he finally got what he wanted because he wasn't. Actually, he hasn't actually got what he wanted because what he actually wanted was a new contract. He hasn't got that yet, but I'm pretty sure the Seahawks wouldn't trade that much stuff for him if they don't plan on paying him a hefty amount of money. So the owner, Jamal Adams, has been coming at all the members of the Jets front office crazy. He came at the owner first, Woody Johnson. Then went at the GM's neck, Joe Douglas. Then just like a day or two before he got traded, came at Adam Gase's neck, just talking crazy. And apparently, from what Adam Schefter reported, this trade was already in the works, and the Seahawks were ready to pull the plug on it once they figured out and once it was confirmed that they were going to have an NFL season. Because, there was a lot of speculation that, whether they're going to have a season or not. Yeah, it was up in the air, and there was a lot of speculation for a long time. So once it was confirmed, Seahawks pulled the plug and made it happen. And I commend them for that because that shows that they're committed to winning. I mean, and I don't know if I would have gave up that much for one player, but I mean, hey, they're trying to improve their team. I mean, when you're in a division with DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray, George Kittle, you need a pretty good safety to assist the cornerbacks, as well as you need a safety who can cover a tight end as good as George Kittle can, as good as George Kittle. And I feel like Jamal Adams is that dude. He's honestly a bad he is him. Jamal Adams is him. So again, I'm happy for all sides of this trade. As it seems like it worked out for everybody. The Jets got a haul. The Seahawks got a really good defensive player, probably like a top 10 defensive player in the league at a very young age. I mean, unfortunately, they're gonna have to pay him a hefty contract because, not now, but his contract's up in 2 years. He'll be a free agent, or his contract will be expiring if the Seahawks don't decide to extend his deal past that. But extremely excited to see what he looks like in the Seahawks defensive backfield and see how that works out. So that just went down. There's already been edits up of Jamal Adams in a Seahawks jersey and blase, and extremely excited. And this just continues to make. This is why I love the NFL so much, and it's like honestly I think it's one of the most entertaining leagues in all of pro sports. So I'm excited about that. And I'll break down the trade a little bit more in depth, but I'm trying to wrap this up right now because my camera's dying, and I hope I can get through the podcast without it dying. If I can get to like 20-something minutes, I'm gonna quickly wrap it up, and I'll be lit. So the last topic I want to get into today, that will actually make into the podcast, is Lou Williams, 6 man like Lou Will. So it was reported that on Thursday, Lou Will left the bubble to attend a funeral, right? The funeral of a close I'm not sure if it was a family member or a close family friend. But so the NBA granted him access to leave the bubble. So he leaves the bubble. That same night, he ended up on Jack Harlow's Instagram story inside of Magic City. And for those of you guys who don't know what Magic City is probably like the most poppin' strip club in all of Atlanta. And Lou Will went there, but Lou Will's claiming that he went there because Magic City is a really good restaurant and they have really good food. But Jack Harlow took the pictures of Lou Will, tagged him in it, and then I guess when everything was happening and blowing up on social media, he deleted them. And then he says they were old pictures. But no, they were not old pictures. They were current pictures. And honestly, this is a very, very bad look for Lou Will. And this is very, very bad for the Clippers. Because one, now Lou Will is currently under investigation. And also, he's going to have to quarantine himself for longer, meaning he's going to miss more games once he actually does come back to the bubble and before he's allowed to play. And why this hurts so much for the Clippers is because they're already thin. Patrick Beverley might miss some games. Landry Shamet's going to miss some games. Zubac is going to miss some games. Like the strength of the Clippers is their depth. and they're down a lot of key players. So it doesn't look like Kawhi and Paul George is going to be able to load manage the rest of the season. Like the Clippers actually need them to play significant minutes in these games so they can lock up the 2 seed. And this really puts them in a very, very tough spot because this whole situation, I don't know, it's really bad for the Clippers. And I wish Lou Will would have handled that better. Or bro, come on now, why are you, if you know you're not supposed to be somewhere? I mean, I'm not gonna ball him or anything like that. I've never been to Magic City. I don't know how good their food is, but I mean, I'm pretty sure strip joints really have good food because they want people to stay in there and spend more bread. But I just think he should have just went. I don't know. You should have went to Olive Garden or ordered Uber Eats or something. Like, I don't think it's that serious. And if you are gonna go, don't get spotted or seen on social media. Or come on, bro. Come on, G. What's up with that? And now he's under investigation. The league is looking into him to see how serious the matter is. And I mean, it kind of looks really bad for him. I mean, to a certain degree, because I mean, he was attending a funeral in Atlanta. And I mean, Magic City's in Atlanta, so I mean, he didn't lie about going to Atlanta, but it just looks like I don't know. It's just really a bad look, and I wish something like this wouldn't have happened because, you know, when the Lakers do play them on Thursday, I want the Clippers to be at as close to full strength as possible. So, you know, when we do beat them, it isn't there isn't any excuses or blase or any of this nonsense politic and blah blah blah. But I mean, if Lou Will does miss, I mean, he's gonna miss games because of the quarantine situation because they're gonna force him to quarantine for longer because he was in a place like a strip club. So, yeah, and who knows, that could cause the Clippers to fall down seeding and then end up, I don't know, in a matchup that they don't want to end up in, playing against I don't know who. So we're gonna see how this shakes up, and we're gonna see how the investigation goes and what comes out of it and stuff like that. He might be fined. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know exactly how the league is going to handle situations like this if they continue to arise or something like that. But we'll see how it does. And as I get more developments, I will let you guys know. I'm really excited, you guys. Like, you know, once again, help me continue to grow. You feel me? I'm gonna keep doing this podcast every single day. I'm gonna be consistent at it and X, Y, and Z and blase and continue to work and stay dedicated and stay motivated. But you guys got to do your part too. Let people know about my podcast. If you're listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SoundCloud, share this joint with everybody you know. If you're watching this podcast on my YouTube channel, like, comment, and hit the subscribe button. And hit the bell notification so you get notified every single time I upload. Feel me? Like, help me shake the room up. Help me shake up the industry. Let's make a movie. Let's go viral. Bow!